Hey everyone, it's Bowser. Let's talk 10.2. The PTR changes just dropped and they're very exciting. Preservation's sitting in a really good place and I want to talk all about it. Some theoretical changes that I would make to my builds, what these changes are going to mean for Mythic Plus, and I'll touch on raid a little bit, although I'm still not the authority on raiding, so take it with a grain of salt when I talk about raid. But there's a lot to talk about here, so if you want to see the Discipline and the Mistweaver video, let me know down in the comments. And hey, get subscribed if you like healing content. It means a ton to me. But let's dive in. Spirit Bloom is getting an increase by 25% for healing. So is Living Flame at 20%, however, not the damage aspect of Living Flame. Verdant Embrace is also getting a healing increase by 35%. Now, there are some nerfs coming along with this. Resonating Sphere, the Echo Delivery Surface on Temporal Anomaly, is 3 targets instead of 5. Cycle of Life is getting a 5% nerf and a 2-second nerf, which means it's now 10% of healing stored in 8 seconds. Now, those 2 nerfs really line up with the dev notes that they're trying to nerf raid healing and massive AoE healing, not so much Mythic Plus healing. And when you look at these changes, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, before anyone's worried about this nerf, Resonating Sphere only hitting 3 targets has a few caveats. First of all, it won't replace an already existing Echo. So if you Echo yourself and Echo maybe a hunter that's not in position, and then you throw a Temporal Anomaly, you should still get the rest of the players that maybe are up in melee. I have an example of that here. This hunter player is from my guild and they're a little too good at positioning, so I told them to stand on the side. And the result is, yeah, you gotta Echo the target because they're not in range, but that's normal pug behavior if you ask me. If you have a nice organized group that lines up for you, wonderful. But I'm so used to doing it this way that like, it's not a big deal. It's definitely a nerf though. But with Spirit Bloom, Living Flame, and Verdant Embrace all getting a healing buff, that's better single target, cleave, and massive AoE healing. That's just better, just straight up. So when you manually Echo some people to do a cleave heal with Verdant Embrace or Living Flame, that's going to be better. If you throw a Temporal Anomaly to farm for Essence Burst and do some basic healing with Living Flame, that's going to be better. And Spirit Bloom, that healing potency increase is more than the Season 2 bonus healing we got from it as a heal over time. So huge news all around, if I'm going to be honest with you. Now, this all does play well into our tier set. So before I get too theoretical with all of you, let's talk about the tier changes. Every empowered spell will fire up to 5 Living Flames at 40% effectiveness. It's based on targets hit, not on charge level. So if you charge up a Fire Breath, it'll only do damaging. If you charge up a Dream Breath, and a Spirit Bloom, it'll only do healing. However, even though they're 40% effective, these are real Living Flames. I don't think they proc Echo, but they do give you Essence Burst like a real Living Flame can roll for. So that means up to 5 more Essence Burst rolls on a Living Flame because you cast an empowered spell. They won't consume your Leaping Flames either, so don't be worried about that. And then before I can fully talk about this, we need to talk about the last part. Any Living Flame, other than offensive ones, can give an Echo. So, and this also counts for Echoed Living Flames. So just to disambiguify this, or however I'm supposed to say that, Leaping Breath or Leaping Flames and Echoes all count as real Living Flames. So if you Echo a bunch of people and you send out a Living Flame, those are more rolls at an Essence Burst. And so Echoed Living Flames can also produce this Echo. The Dream Breath and Spirit Bloom Living Flames also can. A Leaping Flame from an offensive target, like let's say there's one boss, one target to hit, and you have a 4-stack Leaping Flames, and you target the boss, the ones that fire off to heal can also give an Echo. Now, this Echo's at 70% potency, so it's not as strong as other ones, but it won't be overwritten by Temporal Anomaly. So that means that you can deliver so many Living Flames and so many Echoes in a very short period of time. And I think that's going to be really fun in Raid, and I think it's going to work well. But in Mythic Plus, we're not going to need that many Living Flames to get our job done. So this is just going to be like kind of fun. We're going to get a lot of Disintegrates. We're going to get a lot of Blossoms and Echoes. Furthermore, this makes me think that we might be running Exhilarating Burst, because I might swap some talents around to make this work, because 230 and 260% more healing instead of for your criticals instead of 200% is quite a lot of healing. So this could be truly amazing. But if you got confused about all the Living Flame and Echo talk, your living flames of any variety have a chance to provide a 70% echo. Now, what does this mean for the playstyle? You're going to be throwing more living flames? Yes. My guildmaster on Moonguard was like really worried about this, and I was able to like calm their anxiety about this. And so I think I'll be able to calm anyone else's. You should be using living flame in the first place. First of all, run these talents. They're really good, and now they're even better. Second of all, it's pretty common for me as a player to throw a temporal anomaly. I'm in the wrong place for this. And then hit living flame to farm essence burst, because I want to hit more disintegrates, get my mana back, or do more damage and whatnot, or simply get some more echoes prepared for a boss mechanic. And that throwing a temporal anomaly and hitting living flame is actually pretty decent healing. And now it's like significantly better healing. And so that's more chances at essence burst, that's more chances at healing, that's more damage, that's more throughput, that's more Ouroboros stacks. It's really good, but you're still going to be doing all the same things you did before, echoing targets and then hitting like a Verdant Embrace to cleave heal them. If you're a Ysera's Blessing runner, you're going to hit your Dream Breath and it's still going to be super high potency. Nothing changes significantly about our playstyle, but the resources we get is huge. The biggest change, of course, is for those of you who will have to throw a temporal anomaly and then echo some targets to deal with mechanics. Yes, you will. But with the way smart healing works, I really don't think it's going to be a problem. I expect us to be running stasis for sure again, because A, it's already really powerful, but B, all of these effects can trigger in stasis. So if you stasis a Dream Breath and you stasis a Spirit Bloom, you're going to throw even more living flames, which only adds to my thoughts that Exhilarating Burst might become popular. Might even run something like this, potentially, just to play around with that notion. And I think even 1 point in Exhilarating Burst is doing good work. And if I don't need Spirit Bloom as often, just because I'm using Living Flame more, which is something I've already experimented with, this could be a potential build for next season. But I don't want anyone to jump on this just yet, because my final disclaimer is that until we get to see the raid and we get to see some of these dungeons and play them and test them, and then they get balanced and then they come out, and hopefully they come out in not a disastrous state like the start of season 2, we're not actually going to know how viable these builds are. I will experiment for it, and if you want to stop by my stream and join in on the experimentation and talk shop with me, I'd love that. But I think Preservation can run current builds just fine. I just highly recommend now that you're running Life Force Mender and Life Giver's Flame. They've been strong, they stayed strong, and now they're going to be giga strong. So I wouldn't sleep on these at all. And remembering to echo targets is something that you can start practicing right now that is practical, useful, and will become mandatory by next season. We might be able to get rid of this move, for maybe we're going those Dormus for some fun. I'm not going to call it yet, because again, I don't have those dungeons, but there's a lot of fun that could be had here, so I'm looking forward to it. But overall, Prez players, I think we're eating good. I really like these changes, and I think they're going to be a lot of fun to experiment with and talk about. So head on over to my Twitch if you ever want to chat with me with these things live. And of course, get into the comment section and let me know how you feel about all of this. But I'm really looking forward to it. We're sitting in a good place and I'm really happy about it. Thank you all so much for watching, and hey, I'll see you in the next one.